So far, my ego is cooperating. We're working together. I call ego RSO. My last video, I explained where the RSO name came from. But it's, just keeping in mind that our egos have specific roles to play and that it's valuable. We don't want to kill our egos off. We really just want to work with our egos better, understand their role, and work with, teach, train. I can't tell you exactly what the ego is, other than it's a part of us. I don't think it's quite our body, but it's a layer, and an energetic layer, part of our experience here on the 3D reality, at least. So I'm sure that there are much better explanations of the ego than I can hope to give, but it's a part of our experience here, and why fight it? Cooperate with the ego. I've asked my ego, RSO as I call the ego, to particularly pay attention to physical danger, which I believe is the main historical role. And then just on everything else, just remind me to go into my heart center when I become, or the ego is alerts me, becomes triggered, tries to forecast the future in dire ways, tries to analyze the present and how things are turning out for the worst. So that alert system, and just reminding the reminder, thank you. Going back into my heart center, I'm reminding myself of my purpose, that this is not the reality that I thought it was. It's a matrix. The creator is moi, and I get to choose, and the choosing is done by how I feel. So breathe into it. Thank the ego for the job it's doing. You can remind the ego that the fears that it has, the job that it's doing is changed now. There's no need to alert about situations that aren't physical. The financial, the situational issues rarely have any immediate danger to them. So ego, you can relax. If you feel triggered, just let me know. We'll go into our heart center. We'll remember what we're doing, what we're about, and we'll focus on coming out the other side, feeling better. So that's going well. And I just had a phenomenal day yesterday. I was listening and being reminded by somebody. I'd never heard of the person before. I have to look at who it is, but it's not their real voice. They've got an AI voice, but and they've made it sound like it's a lady from the Victorian era, late 1800s. But obviously it's not. But the message was really interesting. It was the reminder that money is just a form of energy, and that we don't, just like electricity, it's a form of energy. And we can walk up to the light switch And we flip the switch on and we know what's going to happen. It's so obvious. We don't think about it. We don't in our mind ask the electricity to come and help us light the light bulb or do some other function. We just expect it. It's normal. It's a function of that energy. So we don't have to beg it and plead with it, and we don't have to do any kind of rituals. We just walk over and we flip the switch. So money is the same thing. It's an energy, and to the extent that we're begging, pleading, feeling unworthy, then we're just gumming up the process. So the person recommended that we command. And I don't know that I feel comfortable with commanding anything. Maybe that's just me. But certainly stating things as fact. Like, they suggested saying, I command money to come to me today in an unexpected way. They said it could be finding a quarter, finding a penny on the pavement, but they recommended celebrate it. Celebrate anything, because that command is sent into our subconscious, and our subconscious is setting about trying to make it realized. So any time that we notice, even small, celebrate it, think about it, write it in a money manifestation journal, just a money journal, so that there's feedback going through and that you can share some gratitude about, which is also important. As we know, it's a high vibration activity, is appreciation, gratitude. So noticing and thinking about those wonderful things. So I did that yesterday, pretty much what I described, and I've started August 1st it was yesterday, so I started a little kind of money journal, just to keep an eye on how this game is going. And really, isn't life really a game? It feels like there's dire consequences, but in all reality, once we can breathe through it all and just be present, it kind of is what it is. It's kind of the game of life. I like that perspective. So yesterday I had some bills that really needed to be paid with my one of my businesses, and some vendors that needed to be paid, and it was and the money that I had made over the course of the week, 2 days had been kind of behind, and that's not normal. I work with Toast, and I called them up and asked them what the deal was, and the person on the phone, I don't really know what's going on, really. So they just pointed me, since I'm new with them, they were able to point me to the dashboard, and I was able to see batches that were being processed and kind of better anticipate when things were going to come about. So the explanation as to why getting behind, no explanation. But I could see that things were coming. So as my brain is apt to do, and all of our brains, starts to forecast, well, if I have this amount arriving here and this amount arriving there, that I can do these things with it and that with it. And so that's, of course, what I was doing. I kind of stopped myself and said, okay, let's relax. If I'm anticipating this amount and possibly another amount arriving yesterday, and if they do, then great, I'll do these things with them. And I kind of left it at that, and I had done my money command about some things arriving in unexpected ways, money arriving in unexpected ways. And I went about my morning. I had to check my bank account just to see what had arrived. One amount had arrived. It wasn't as much as I was hoping. So I made the most important payment, and I was falling short of the next most important payment. And I thought, oh shoot, what am I going to do? And I need to go make some purchases today for the business. So as I was looking at one of my accounts, it was the payroll account, and I thought, when are they going to take that last $1,200 out of there for the payroll? And I started looking at the history and calculating it up, and I thought I'd put exactly what I needed into that account so that when Toast took the payroll, it would be near zero, plus a little bit, for some checks that needed to go out to employees that don't do direct deposit. But I looked at it and I thought, wait a second. There's over 1,000 in there that doesn't need to be in there. I don't even know when that got in there or how that got in there, but there it is. So I'm still not sure how it happened, but I definitely didn't notice it, didn't calculate it in, didn't divvy it up among different needs I had, and so it was totally unexpected. It was a total windfall because the other amount from Toast that I was expecting never did show up. But it didn't matter because I was able to make that second most important payment, and I had enough to just go make the purchase I needed to. It wasn't perfect, but it came, and I wrote it down, and I'm so glad that I did, because now I can remember that the universe is supporting me, is listening to me. My subconscious is working on what I asked it to do. I flipped on that light switch, and lo and behold, the light came on. Low battery. Couldn't tell if it had turned it off or not, but I guess it didn't. That's the pause. So anyway, that was my experience yesterday. I've put together a more comprehensive morning and evening routine that I'm really digging into, and certainly felt good about yesterday, and now I can share a little bit more about that as time goes on, and if I feel successful at it, I'll let you know. Anyway, take care.